This was not what I was expecting. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday. That means it's time for another Manga Monday Book Club. If you don't know what Manga Monday Book Club is, I will leave more information for you down below in the description. We'd love to have you join us. Next week, we are reading My Hero Academia Volume 4, and the discussion posts for this are already up on the Goodreads page, so I will leave a link to that down below in the description. But today, we are discussing The Promised Neverland Volume 1. This story is about these kids who are living in this orphanage, and it's all sunshines and rainbows until it's not. Until two kids discover a secret at the gates of the orphanage that completely shifts every belief they ever had about this wild utopia place they thought they were living in. They must figure out a way to protect themselves and also the family that they've created at this orphanage. Before I get into the full discussion where I dive deep into spoilers, I'm going to share some non-spoilery thoughts, and then I'm going to do a full on cannonball into spoilers. I went into this one being like, oh, this is going to be some kind of slice of life, happy-go-lucky kind of story, and then this book came through and smacked me in the face with some major unexpectedness. I didn't realize going into this one that it was some kind of thriller manga. That was a shock to me, but had I done a little research before diving into this one, I would have known. Oop, oop, oop. I kind of liked the unexpected quality to it though. It's like when you eat a donut and you don't realize it's jelly filled. And you take a big old bite and it's like, oh, well, hello there, little fella. I wasn't expecting you, but I don't hate you. That was the situation here. As a whole, I feel like this was a great introduction into the story, but I do feel like it could have used a little oomph, a little more gas in the tank. But the good thing here is that this one got me intrigued enough to want to keep going with this series. And that I will do. Those were some of my non-spoilery thoughts. I am now going to be doing a cannonball into the spoiler section. So if you have not read this manga, ding ding ding, go read it, come back, and join us for the discussion down below in the comments. Let's get started. I honestly just really loved the setup of the story because it's like, oh, this place is all sunshines and rainbows, and then it's like, LOL. When realistically, it's like demons and death. We're introduced to Emma, our main character. She's been living at the orphanage for 10 years, and right off the bat, she just has a lot of likability to her. She's got spunk, she's super smart, and she's super selfless as well. I don't know if I'd be able to live in this orphanage because these kids be wildin' out. Catch me out here hiding in the pantry to get some peace and quiet because yikes.
Y'all are loud and obnoxious. Stop running.
I feel like I'd be like the orphanage grump or something. Right away when I saw their neck tattoos, I was like, what the heck is that? And when we learned that they're IDs, I was like, why the heck do they need that? Also, why tattoo it on their skin? They're not cows that need to be branded, even though later on we find out that they're pretty much living in a farm. Is it ink that will eventually come off? Do a little scrub-a-dub-dub and it disappears? Also, is it really that difficult to keep track of all these children? I can't remember the exact amount in this specific orphanage, but I feel like it was like around 40. And something tells me that you wouldn't need to tattoo their necks to keep track of them. I'm just saying. That's when I started having red flags. Like, what the heck is up with these tattoos, man? What about you guys? When did you start having red flags? Ray, Norman, and Emma are literally the golden trio. Like, it has been solidified. There ain't no question about it. It's almost like they're a golden trio of Hermione's because they're all mega geniuses. I would not fit in with their crew. They have these daily tests that they have to take, which honestly does not sound appetizing at all. I think I'll pass on that. Yeah, thanks. But the golden trio over here ace it with flying colors. As if that's normal or something. News alert, it ain't. At least for someone like me. I would not be acing those tests. While reading this, I had many theories pop up in my mind, so here's my first theory. My first theory was that this orphanage was brainwashing these children through the tests that they have to take every day, but I also couldn't come up with a reasoning as to why they were brainwashing them or what they were exactly brainwashing them with. Theory invalid. They have these rules where they have to stay away from the gate that leads to the outside world, and they also can't go beyond the forest or the fence, which thinking about that, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Most children can't be running around in the outside world on their own because of common sense. I think I was surprised to hear that nobody had broken the rule though, at least that we know of. Somebody could have done it and they could have covered it up, but we don't really know that yet. But we've got this house full of children and not one of them has thought of jumping the fence yet? What be going on here, fam? We also learned that they've had no contact with their siblings who have left. Yeah, so, red flag. You'd think that they wouldn't let them read about the outside world because that could get them curious about what's happening out there and make them want to hop the fence and get the heck out of there. But at the same time, not letting them read about the outside world could also cause them to just want to like rebel and get the heck out of there. I guess they do kind of have it made at the house though. Heck, I'd stay if all I had to do was take one test a day and I got to eat all I wanted and play all the live long day. No one knows their real parents or where they were born, which leads me to my next theory. Theory number 2. I'm wondering if there's kind of this like system in place where basically the parents get together, mate, have babies, ship them off to the orphanage, and just do it all over again. It's like this cycle or whatever. Then the babies are like harvested at the farm and are sent off to these demons to be eaten. You'd think that by now the kids would start questioning things because of how smart they are. Like like they've got to be like, yo, something's not adding up here. Connie leaving at first is like, yay, she's got a new family, that's so great. And then Emma and Norman run off to give her bunny and find a dead body. And this is where I was like, dang, I did not realize how dark this story is. I was not expecting this at all. Like the demons too? What? Disastrous. Like this just turned everything on its head. And I'm sure it's only the beginning too. You know that unexpected quality I was talking about with this manga? Yeah, this is it. Hello darkness, my old friend, to a T. Demons be eating these kids like they're eating Happy Meals? What is this? What exactly is going on here? So this is where we learn that the orphanage is not in fact an orphanage and that it's a farm. But this ain't no. And on this farm there lived a cow. E-I-E-I-O. Nope. These kids are being raised and fed to demons. They overhear one of the demons say that they've only been receiving the normal ones so far. So basically that means that there's kind of some kind of hierarchy amongst the kids that the kids don't even know about. And I'm guessing our golden trio, our smarty two shoes, are abnormal if anything. Seeing someone who has helped raise you be a part of something like this has just gotta be a dagger to the heart. Especially because they all seem to love their caretaker, like they saw her as their mom. Meanwhile, she's taken these demons their Happy Meals. So they begin the process of talking about how they want to escape, but I almost thought personally that it would be better for them to like take out their caretaker and somehow either figure out a way to survive on the property or take out their caretaker and then escape and hide. I mean, that could end up being what eventually plays out, but I guess we'll see. What do you guys think is the best option for them? Theory number 3. What if when the kids die, they're transformed into demons? Maybe? Probably not, but I guess we'll see. The fact that Emma and Norman have to go back to the orphanage and act as if they didn't just see a dead child and full-on demons. The Oscars they deserve for their performances. It's interesting how you can live in this toxic place and not even realize it. They've lived in this orphanage their whole lives and they're only just now realizing that they've basically been living in a cage. But I guess that's also because they've never had to question anything. They've always lived this like really happy life. And they probably just thought that the over-the-top security was just in place for their protection. I really wonder what the white clothing is all about though. Is it like a sign of purity for the demons? Or is it just like their prisoner wear? I'm really wondering how all the other kids are gonna take this information though. I feel like it'll be hard for them to understand or believe what Emma and Norman saw that night because this has been their whole lives. This is all they know. The orphanage is where they grew up. It's gotta be so difficult for Emma and Norman to see this woman who has been their caretaker, their mom basically their whole lives, and realizing the fact that she is not on their side, she is the enemy. And meanwhile, she's just acting as if nothing's going on. Now that's really terrifying. The fact that she's showing no signs of remorse for what she's done. Does she not have a heart? Does she not have a soul? Anyone with a heart or a soul in that position would feel some kind of way for what they're doing. Also, is the mom the only one watching them? We find out later that there is kind of some kind of system in play, but we really don't know much about it and what it even looks like. Theory number 4. The caretaker, the mom, is a demon. She's just a shapeshifter. Maybe, probably not. So they've determined that the size of their brain plays an important role in everything, and that the demons might not actually be eating the bodies, but the brains, which would really make sense as to why the kids are being categorized. This means categorized, apparently. That Emma and caretaker confrontation was just like edge of your seat worthy. Here's Emma being like, oh, we've got to act like nothing's happened, and meanwhile she's got her hand on this spot where Connie's picture used to hang, and she's looking all sad, and here comes the caretaker putting a big old target on Emma's back because she begins interrogating her. You okay, Emma? You looking pale. You weren't as cheerful as you normally are this morning. I would have not been able to pull an Emma and hug that monster mom in that moment. I'd be peeing my pants, running away, giving myself away. How does one shove away all these feelings that they have and act as if nothing's wrong? And I'm talking about both Emma and the monster mom because they're both doing that in this situation. Hand over the Oscar to these two. It's what they deserve. How does one look at this face and remain calm? That's what I want to know. All chill would have been lost if I were in Emma's shoes in this situation. When she directly asked Emma if Norman was at the gate yesterday, yeah, that kind of left me a little shook. This solidifies the fact that she is on their heels. She has full on sniffed them out. I think they kind of underestimated how smart the caretaker is because dang, she caught on quick. But this must mean that she was trained for a situation like this. At the end of this chapter, the caretaker says that she's not going to let anyone escape and that she's going to be the only one that survives. And she herself has numbers on her neck. And this just has me questioning everything again. Like, what is going on here? I must know. Someone tell me. Actually, don't. No spoilers if you're farther ahead in this series. Pretty please. But now I'm wondering if this is like some kind of simulation and either the kids have to survive or the caretaker has to survive. It's like a one must live and the other must die kind of situation. I am completely lost and I need more answers to be found again. Ray is finally a part of the equation now. He has arrived on their page. Ray really brings in this like realness edge that Emma and Norman weren't really factoring in. Like the fact that, hey, we probably can't take everyone with us. A hard pill to swallow, but one that should be swallowed. Mind you, I don't think it would be impossible to get everyone out with them. I just think it's gonna be incredibly difficult. But Emma is putting her foot down. It's everyone or no one. I like the fact that Norman pointed out to Ray that when Emma got back from seeing the dead child and she was crying, she wasn't crying because of the fact that she was scared of dying, but because of the fact that one of her members of her found family had died. And she fears that every member of her found family could die. That selflessness that Emma has is shining through. I love the lengths that she's willing to go to save her fam bam. But I'm also like, sis, you gotta be careful. For example, you'd think that they'd be smart enough to not be having these like really suspicious private meetings on the property, knowing that they're being tracked. But they're not doing that at all, and that's making me afraid that the mom is just becoming more and more suspicious of them. So dang suspicious. We learned that the year that they're living in is 2045, so I guess what this manga is saying is that when we reach 2045, we can expect lots of demons. Anyway, the newest book that they have published is from 2010, so that just tells us how outdated their library is, so all this information about the outside world that the kids were taking in is more than likely not super accurate anymore, and the world probably looks completely different than what the books are leading them to believe. I'm so curious to know what the outside world looks like in this manga, because if the demons were a sign of how different the world is, then who knows what it's going to be like out there. This chapter title was so unnerving, I was like, dang, they've been caught. They've been got. Something tells me that Dawn and Gilda will be suspected because they keep going off on their own together, but also I myself am kind of suspicious of them right now. Why do they keep going off together? Also, it felt like towards the end that Gilda was trying to talk to Emma about something really important, but Emma was too distracted on trying to find the tracker on the baby. Let me know if you guys feel suspicious about them as well. Like a part of me feels like they might know about the demons. There's a second caretaker in town. Oh boy, just what we needed. Sister Crone. That sure throws a wrench in their plan. This is pretty much gonna affect everything, huh? We see a bit of background on the new character Crone, and we see that she too was raised in the orphanage. She had scored perfectly on her morning tests, but what I want to know is why was she never given away as food? And also the main caretaker, Isabella, clearly was raised in an orphanage as well, so why was she not given over as food? I have so many questions, this is driving me cuckoo. Like maybe they just keep some around to raise them as caretakers, but what makes them want to take that position anyway? Are they brainwashed? I have too many questions and no answers. It's interesting to me that the head caretaker was supposed to report the fact that the kids basically found out the secret and that she refused to report them because of the fact that she wanted to contain the situation on her own. Something is telling me that she's not going to be able to contain it. So Emma has found out that the tracking devices have been put in the ears, so now they've just got to figure out how to get them out of there. The end of this volume was kind of confusing to me, but I think that's because I still have some questions. I have no answers. Isabella is on a call with the grandma, who is like a higher up in this system, whatever this system is, this wacky demon system that we know nothing about yet. The demons are having some kind of ceremony and they want the three kids, aka our golden trio, our smarty two shoes, our trio of Hermione's. I'm not confused of the eating of the children, like I get that. That's not hard to get, but I'm just so confused over what this whole demon society is. I am frustrated, like I need to read volume 2 soon because this is frustrating me. I have so many questions, so many. So those were all my thoughts on The Promised Neverland volume 1. I really enjoyed it. It just was kind of a frustrating reading experience because I feel like we're just in the dark the whole time, but it has me really intrigued because I need to know what happens next. Like they did a good job of hooking me because I have so many questions and I want to find out the answers, so I'm gonna have to read this series to figure it all out. Now it's time for you guys to let me know down below in the comments all your thoughts on this volume. How did you feel about it? What were all your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. Next week we are reading My Hero Academia volume 4, and the discussion posts for this are already up on the Goodreads page, so I will leave a link to that down below in the description. That's all I've got for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.